So the sexual shadow. Um, a lot of people have heard of shadow work and are interested in doing shadow work. And it's beautiful. As you know, the shadow parts of ourselves are aspects of us that we repress, deny, and avoid. And then, of course, they leak out and we think nobody else can see them. And of course, they can. So these might be things like arrogance, or these might be things like pettiness or stinginess, or all kinds of things that just show up, just to name a few. And they're shadow entities. So, what is the sexual shadow? Well, the sexual shadow are the parts of our sex, our sexual desire, the parts of our sexuality that we repress, deny, and avoid. And lo and behold, those also leak out in unconscious ways and they show up. And the people closest to us, our sexual partners in particular, can feel them in us. And they're kind of just out there floating. It's like they're unowned and they're unconscious. And so they show up in strange ways. They might show up in us being repulsed by other people's desires to engage in these kinds of sexual acts. They might show up in us completely pushing away or avoiding parts of our desire and making them wrong. So they'll show up in a lot of sexual shame. They might show up in us going outside the relationship to get certain more taboo or shadowy sexual desires met. And the deeper work is to go in and excavate these by really asking, what are the parts of my sex or parts of sex that I'm repulsed by? Or what am I an absolute no to in my sex? Or where do I know that I have some desire that I just am not able to own, either with myself or with a sexual partner? Those are all some starting points to start looking at sexual shadow. And this is not just shadow work for the sake of shadow work, but when sexual shadow is integrated and where you have, a committed partnership or, committed sexual relationship, it's a place where they can be liberated and where you can really own the desire and have it be met in a place of love. And so, for instance, if, sexual shadow might be around your own self-pleasure, like it's just not okay for you to pleasure yourself. And that might have been installed when you were very young. And so it might seem like a very benign sexual shadow, but many people walk around carrying that. And so when it's fully integrated and owned, it can be brought into a sexual moment as a gift. And what makes it a gift is that it's brought into the light, it's fully owned, fully claimed, and then it's witnessed and received from a place of love. And so with any sexual shadow, whether you think it's benign or it's super gnarly, the important thing is not just to do the excavation, but also do the integration work, which tends to happen through process and then eventually can be brought into a sexual moment, could be solo with a partner. And this way, the sexual shadow moves out of the shadow and into the light, and then can be integrated as a gift in your sex. So that is the sexual shadow. And if you're inspired to learn more about these are things that I will touch on in my workshops that I do that are around sex, polarity, and intimacy. And if you want to find out more, you can go to travisstreb.com.